What's going on, y'all? My name is Brian Sanchez, and welcome back to Living the Magic. Gonna talk about some news that we heard across the rumor wires today, work commencements, some permits filed, basically signaling what we've all kind of assumed is going to be the future of a beloved area of Disney's Animal Kingdom. We'll also dive into what I think should be replacing these attractions eventually once we get to the end of this. But just a real quick thank you for checking out the video, and just want to remind everyone that if you want to support the channel, you want access to these kinds of videos early, you can always do that at patreon.com/signalpointmedia. Become a patron subscriber. For as little as $1 a month, you get early access to this, access to exclusive videos and content that I'm putting over there, not just Disney related, but also music, scripts, podcasts, the whole nine. You can definitely go check that out. Really do appreciate it. All right, we're going to dive right into it. You know, for the last few years, Dinoland USA has really been, for lack of a better term, sad. It's just been clearly time for something new to come in here. And if they're not going to keep the dinosaur theming, which doesn't seem to be the case, there's been a lot of prevailing theories that they're going to be moving away from dinosaurs and into something different, more IP driven. And, Animal Kingdom purists would probably say that that doesn't fit the ethos of the park. And, to which I hope we would stick to as much as we can with IPs. And I think there is a way of doing it. If you pick the right IPs and done in the right way, I think you can split the difference between doing something that's more IP driven and recognizable to draw guests in, and to still keep this original spirit and intent of Animal Kingdom alive. But I got to be honest with you, if you take that ethos, that balance of relationship between humanity and nature and culture and all of that together, Dinoland USA is only half part of that. Because the story behind the original version of Dinoland USA is the Dinosaur Institute, which is represented by the dinosaur attraction. And this is supposed to be, a legitimate research area where they're doing, advanced paleontology and research into time travel technology to go back in time and study dinosaurs, which is cool because you get quote unquote, the actual real dinosaurs here. You get that version of dinosaurs. But then on the other side of the area, you have what is Chester and Hester's Dinorama, which is supposed to be this area where these grad students that are working at the Dinoland Institute decided that they wanted to make a roadside attraction kind of thing to make money. And that's where you get the carnival games and the rides and the, spinning coaster that used to be there that has long been removed from the area. And, I understand the reluctancy of change here. And I don't necessarily want the Dino Institute to go. I do love that attraction. That dinosaur attraction is classic. It is a phenomenal attraction. And I'm really sad that, we may end up losing it. But if we are going to lose it, the concept art that's been shared by Disney seems like there's two attractions coming to this area that are going to be very strong and worthy replacements to the area. And again, if done right, I think could totally fit with the ethos of the park. So again, what we said, what is the ethos of the park? The ethos of Animal Kingdom is to celebrate the harmony in the natural world. Animals, nature, plants, different areas of the world and those cultures that make up those areas, and the relationship that people have with the animals, both real and mythical, pointing to the Yeti in Everest, in India, in the park. I mean, as far as I know, Yetis aren't real, but we still were able to find a way of weaving in an amazing thrill ride. In my opinion, one of the best attractions at Walt Disney World, into a story that highlights the relationship of the people of an area of the world and some of their culture into the ethos of the park. And I think if you're going to do this, if you're going to retheme the dinosaur area into a different section of the park, different culture, I mean, if you look at the concept art, I think it's pretty clear and obvious that we're leaning towards South America here, which is a glaring omission, I think, weirdly enough, to Animal Kingdom. You know, opening day, you have Dinoland USA, you have Africa, you have Asia, and you have Discovery Land, Discovery Island, I believe is what it's called, which is the central hub of the park where like the Tree of Life is and all that. And I have always, from the jump, I always thought it was weird that they didn't do a South America area, but you know, there was originally plans of doing a like a mythical kingdom, you know, from fairy tales, which is why there's a dragon on the logo. The original logos for the parks have that dragon, and there's still dragon imagery and stuff in the entrance of the park and at the gates. And so there was a whole themed area planned that was supposed to be called Beastly Kingdom, that was dragons and unicorns and mythical creatures and those kind of things. And so that's always kind of been baked into the original ethos of the park. And so, okay, if you're going to set this in South America and you're going to tie it into IPs, the rumors for a long time have been both Encanto and Indiana Jones. Now, the Indiana Jones one makes the most sense to replace Dinosaur because the ride system is the exact same ride system as the attraction in California. There's even, it's generally accepted that the ride path is the exact same. I don't know if that's actually the case, if it's exactly one for one the same ride path that you're doing in California, or if it's very similar. But you know, regardless, I could see a very easy path into basically just creating a one-for-one replica of the California version of the Indiana Jones attraction. And if you look at the concept art in the top right-hand corner there is that, you know, kind of like Mayan Aztec style temple there in the top right-hand corner that I think would probably be the entrance to what is currently, you know, Dinosaur, the attraction. Countdown to Extinction, as it used to be called. Look, if we just got a one-for-one, you know, replica of the Indiana Jones attraction from Disneyland, I mean, it would be cool. But I don't think that on the surface it fits the ethos and the potential of what they could do in a Animal Kingdom version of an Indiana Jones. So take the ride, the same system, and a similar concept. You know, we're doing tours of a dig that, you know, Indy and the organization is on, but let's create a new story and let's pull from some South American cultures here. This would be a phenomenal opportunity to do something very similar to what they've done with Everest and pull the Yeti from, you know, like Himalayan culture, that, you know, sort of like legend of a mythical creature, and tie it into the natural world, you know, where we have here with something from South American culture. And now I don't personally know a ton of the legends of South America, but I'm sure there are a bunch of really great ones. I did a quick Google search earlier. Colombian folklore myths, you know, that have to do with animals. And the very first one that I came up was El Hombre Caimán, which is the alligator man, essentially. And it's a story about a man who becomes an alligator, essentially, in the rivers. And so, you know, this could be some kind of temple made to, you know, like the alligator man, El Hombre de Caimán, or something like that, you know. And again, that's where the ethos of this park shines through. The relationship that you're able to bring in folks from this culture to inform these things, to make sure that they're done tastefully, respectfully, and celebrated in a really great and beautiful way. I think that would be an awesome addition to the park. If you're going to do Indiana Jones, tie it into some form of a story that comes from South American culture. If it's going to be set in Colombia, if it's going to be set in the Amazon, that kind of a thing, pull from those cultures, get those kind of folks involved. And I think it would be a really, really awesome addition to the area. The other large attraction that could anchor the other half of this area, of course, is Encanto. It's been long rumored for, that an Encanto attraction would be coming in some way, shape, or form. Now, I know a lot of people think that Encanto probably fits better either in Epcot, which, fair point. If you're going to do like a Columbia Pavilion in Epcot, makes perfect sense. Or would even fit better in like a Fantasyland type thing, where you could have like a dark ride. Again, probably a great idea, but every time I bring up Encanto in Animal Kingdom, I always get the pushback of it has nothing to do with animals. And while the actual story of Encanto, the movie, doesn't necessarily have to do specifically with animals, I think the nature of the miracle of the Familia Madrigal, which is the family in Encanto, comes from this natural relationship that they have with the valley that they live in. And so I would argue that it has everything to do with our ability to live harmoniously with the land that we are on. And then, of course, not to mention, we have an entire character who talks to animals. His name is Antonio. He is a phenomenal character. And this is our way in. Antonio's gift from Casita is that he talks to animals. He has a treehouse, a giant treehouse in his room. And so how amazing would it be to be able to go on a Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway style attraction, trackless dark ride. Even if it doesn't even have to really even be on that scale. It could be smaller. It could be a Fantasyland style dark ride, and a smaller, something more like Pinocchio's or Snow White or something like that, where we get to go through the rooms of Casita, and we get to, learn a little bit about the culture, sing a couple of the really catchy songs that I'm sure everybody would get stuck in their head the moment if I started singing when I talk about Bruno or anything like that right now. But Antonio is our guide into this world, talking to animals. And I truly think that is our way in. So if you want to do a small Fantasyland style dark ride, you could definitely do that, where you just, go into the different rooms. Each room has the different song, done. But if you want to expand it, something larger, something like on the scale of a Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, this could be our opportunity to explore Antonio's room and to learn more about some animals that he talks to. The toucans, the capybaras, the jaguars, all of those really amazing animals that we get in South America and in Colombia. And then, of course, these areas are always filled out with a million, shops and, some smaller meet and greet areas, things like that. And so, yeah, food options galore. You can pull from all kinds of South American cuisine. The shops, obviously, your Indiana Jones merch, your Encanto merch, but then you can also have, things related to the animals that are there, maybe another exhibit. This would be a great place for some birds. I'd love to see jaguars. I don't know if logistically they'd be able to do that kind of a thing over here, but, I think if done right and pulled from these cultures, and as long as we're not just doing like one for one copy pasting of the Indiana Jones attraction from California, I think this would be a phenomenal way of tying in an entire continent that probably should have been represented at Animal Kingdom from day one. So that's what we're getting. I truly think that's what we're going to end up getting. What I'm really hoping is that they don't do a one-for-one copy of Indiana Jones from California, and that the Encanto attraction is not just a meet and greet, but is an actual ride. And whether that's a small scale Fantasyland dark ride or a large scale trackless dark ride system that goes through the entire, casita, either way, I'd be really, really stoked. I don't think we're going to get 2 massive attractions. So if they're going to re-theme just one of these at first, I would say Indiana Jones is probably the more likely one at this point. From the rumors that I hear and what seems to be, the track record of what Disney likes to do lately, re-theming an already existing attraction as opposed to trying to building something from scratch, seems to be the way to go. So hopefully if they do Indiana Jones, they give us a different story, give us some different legends to be pulling from, and switch it up just a little bit, but still give us a lot of those great moments. And of course can be a lot of fun referential to the movies and that. But yeah, that's what I hope comes to Animal Kingdom. I would love to know what y'all think is going to come to Animal Kingdom, what y'all would like to see. Is there another property that you would have liked to have seen? I mean, there's the argument to be made that the Moana one seemed to be a much better, argument here. You got the Pacific Islands that could be represented there. Again, a super popular IP that has to do with a lot with nature. I mean, she literally communicates with the water like that. So I could definitely see that kind of a thing. But this concept art's been floating around for a while, and the more and more I see it, the more and more it gets more refined. And so I think this is probably the most likely thing that we're going to end up getting over there in Dinoland. So sad to see it go, but I think ultimately it is time. If there was a way that we could have this and keep Dinosaur itself, I would love that, but I just don't see how that fits, unfortunately. So, but yeah, that's going to do it for today, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. If you are following along and gotten to the end of this, let me know down in the comments and hit the thumbs up and all that. And of course, you can always follow along for more and early access on patreon.com/signalpointmedia. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Again, really do appreciate it. There's been a lot of folks that have popped on recently, and I started the Imagination Virtual Sit-In again, which is my daily posting venture that I'm posting every single day until Disney announces an update to the attraction in the Imagination Pavilion at Epcot. I want a new Figment ride. So I'll probably do like a longer form version of some of those posts here soon to go on record as to what I think needs to come back to that attraction. But I don't think we're going to get any announcements until D23. But D23 is coming up in August. So, hopefully at D23, they'll confirm, what's coming to Animal Kingdom. And who knows, maybe they'll throw in something for Figment as well. I mean, that would be nice. I mean, Joe Rohde is being named a Disney legend. So I think it would be phenomenal if they announced like a really big influx of things coming to Animal Kingdom, specifically with Joe Rohde being like the head creative mind behind that entire park. And fix the Yeti already, man. That's going to be the next thing. If they do announce an update for the attraction, Figment's attraction, the next daily posting campaign is going to be to fix the Yeti. But I have a feeling I'll be posting about that one for a long time. So anyways, I'm going to get out of here, y'all. We'll see y'all around. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. And as always,